Hi, Mr. McDonald. So glad that you're able to come.
Nice to be here.
Okay, you have a seat right there if you like. Before we get started, would you like something to drink?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just a second. Did you have a hard time getting here?
No, ma'am.
Was the
That's very
direction
easy.
good? Okay,
The directions
good.
were very good.
Thank you. I'm glad the weather has finally calmed down. We've had so much wind.
Oh yeah, man. Real bad weather.
Oh,
Yes, I love the sunny, beautiful days.
oh, I do too. Well, okay. Now, Mr. McDonald, would you be preferred to be called that or by a different name?
I would like to be called by my first name, Jordan.
Okay, that's great. That's what I'll do. Okay, Jordan. Before we get into this session, I'm gonna take a brief look at the assessment package that you filled out for me, and then we'll discuss what we're going to be doing in this session today. Okay, this looks very good. You're very thorough in filling out the assessment form. Thank you so much. That
Yes,
helps
no
me
problem.
to help
No
you.
problem.
Okay, Mr. Jordan. I have to get used to calling you Jordan instead of Mr. McDonald. So, forgive me if I sometime forget to do that. Okay, let me just introduce myself. My name is Ruth Abram, and I'm the lead social worker here at Therapeutic Mind Center.
Mhm.
And I will be doing your assessment today. Actually, reviewing the assessment that you completed for me that we sent to you in an email a couple of days prior to this meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Now, just to start, what is your expectation for the meeting today?
What is my expectation? I don't have any specific expectations. Just I want to get things off my chest, I guess.
Okay, that's perfectly fine, and we will do that for you. Now, before we get started, let me just explain to you about what I can offer you to the client. And the services that I offer would be for major life transitions or traumatic events. I can help you with counseling for that type of service. I also help clients with coping skills and stress management, loss or grief group counseling, and I also do depression and other mood disorder counseling. So this is a therapeutic center. As a counselor, I can offer those different kinds of therapies, and of those would be the CBT, that's the behavior therapy. And we're not a medical counselor, so we do not prescribe any kind of medications. And once we do the assessment and we determine that is needed, then I would be doing a referral. Would that be okay for you?
Oh, it would be no problem. Okay.
Now, in this particular session, let me just give you a little bit about what I can do and what I'm expecting in this relationship, in this client social worker relationship. So before you get started, Jordan, let me tell you about what you can expect today. I will further discuss the assessment package that you've completed, and this will help me to clarify and further evaluate your current mental health and state of well-being. So we're about trying to assess your well-being. It's all about Jordan. And you can immediately help me in this process by sharing your thoughts and feelings as freely and as fully as you possibly can. This will help me with this process, because the more that you can share with me, the more that I can know what direction we can go in and to help you with the goals that you have in mind. Also, you can ask any question when you do not understand something. You may offer suggestions about what might work better. Like if we give you a suggestion for a plan of action, you could say, well, give me feedback. Say this worked or this did not work. And that's perfectly okay, because we are in this particular relationship. So the better we work together, the better we can come up with a good outcome for you.
Okay.
Okay. Now, also, I do have to inform you of the limited confidentiality clause that we have, or policy. You can discuss with me in confidence, knowing that the information shared with me will be held in the highest of confidentiality. Our agency follows our code of ethics to protect your information, and we adhere to the Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act. That's just HIPAA. Probably heard of that.
Yes.
And then, which also mandates us to protect the privacy of patient health information. So any information you're going to be giving to me is considered your health information. And we are mandated to protect that. However, there are some exceptions. In the state of Texas, I can discuss your case with my supervisor, and you can waiver your confidentiality by giving me your consent to have information forward to your physician or any person that you wish to have your health information.
Okay.
Okay? And then if there is a threat or endangerment to you or to other, I am obligated to report that particular threat. And I can disclose your information to I can disclose your information to the court if we're subpoenaed, in the case you have to go to court. So those are things that I am obligated to do by the law. So these would be the exception to your confidentiality. You have the right to look at your record. You have the right to correct information in your record that is wrong. So, do you have any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then that's great. Okay, so I'm going to let you go ahead and sign the confidentiality, saying that we have reviewed that information with you. Okay, thank you. Okay. Now, Jordan, now the information that you gave me in regards to your family situation, and what I did with that is just, I'm really excited to share this with you. I took the information that you gave me in regards to your family composition, that's your genealogy part of your family. I put that together and I did a genogram. That's what we call it. It's like a genealogy map. So what this is showing me is these two items here would be this is your dad. You see the legend there?
Mm-hmm.
The triangle symbol is for male. So this is your dad, this is your mom. And these little lines that you see going from you to your mom and to your dad, that's giving me indication of what kind of relationship that you have with them, as you indicated on your assessment when you filled out that form. You remember? Okay.
Yes.
So what I have here is I've taken the liberty to input this into a genome map, and it shows the emotional relationship you have with your family, and it looks like a pretty strong, loving family. I see that you have no dysfunction in as far as the strength of your family, as far as loving each other. You're pretty strong and tight on that. I do show that on some of the relationship which you have disclosed to me, you have had some depression in the family, and you have mostly depression, it looks like. So that's not abnormal. This is like what happens in a lot of situations. So that's good that you disclose that to me. So what that does for me is it allows me to know what your strengths are and who are your support systems. This gives me a very good information. Okay. And also, I want to go ahead and clarify something a little further that you've related on your assessment. And what that would be is, you did advise me, and this is prior to you coming in, on your phone call, you did express the fact that you were experiencing some depression, and you wanted to come in and discuss those issues with me. Now, I'd like for you to just explain to me in a little bit more detail what problems were you experiencing that prompt you to make that call.
My recent breakup with my ex-girlfriend.
Okay. And that relationship dissolved for what reason?
Due to our differences in backgrounds, her being a Muslim and me being a Christian, her being college educated and me, although I want to go to college, right now my current situation, I'm working. I need to work, so I'm working, and I'll say towards that. But that was also a factor that caused us to break up. Just different lifestyles and different backgrounds.
Okay. That must have been hard for you. How were you able to receive that breakup? What did that do to you emotionally? Excuse me.
It was hard. I definitely I dealt with some depression, not really wanting to do much, staying in the house a lot more often than I used to, and just overthinking about it. Of course, I was with her for 5 years, so it was a really close relationship, and it was hard to break apart.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that you experienced this relationship and you're pretty close to this particular girl, and as in most relationships, it is very hard to break those ties. So how have you managed to cope with, what have you done for yourself, your well-being, to help you cope with those moments that are unbearable for you?
Distractions like working, going to work, playing games, and watching TV, skateboarding, drawing. A lot of just getting into my activities, or my hobbies, and just doing those, and that always helps distract me from what happened in the past.
That's good, and those are very good things that you're doing to put yourself toward a better, more positive you. Those are all good things that you're doing. I'd like to ask you some things about risk factors, that may come up. So I'm going to ask you, and it's going to be asked of you on a scale from weak, moderate, to strong. And I see that you did give me some answers, so I just want to clarify them. In regards to your social support, and what that would mean, your ability to talk about your problem to your support system. And when I say support system, we're going to be talking about the ones that you listed.
Mm-hmm.
And can you just reiterate to me, of those that you listed on your support system, I see that you list your family and your cousin, and that cousin Jamal, is that correct?
Yes.
Are there any other external support systems that you have in place that you trust, that you confide in when you're feeling low?
2 other friends, I would say. Do I name them?
If you haven't, let's see, do you have them on this list? Okay. No, I don't see those. And I don't think we specifically asked about the external.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and add those external persons to this list here. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're going to deal with your situation from your point of strength.
Okay.
And your point of strength is going to be the support system you have and all of the good qualities that you have within yourself, your ability for resiliency, the way you can snap back, and how you can bring yourself forward and move toward your own goals and your own self-care. Those are going to be the key to healing your mind and your spirit. And I just want to ask one quick question. In this relationship where your relationship was severed, Is this permanent?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a permanent one. I haven't talked to her in the last 4 months, I believe, so I don't think I'm going to contact her again.
That's good. Okay. So if you have made that choice, then what we're going to do with that information is we're going to teach you how to just grow strong from there. Each day we're going to teach you how to grow strong and then get to who you want to be. And that's what we're going to do. Okay. Now, like we said, we're going to do the risk factor, your risk and protective factors. And we're doing it from a scale of weak, moderate to strong. So in your support system, the ability to talk about problems, who do you identify on that system, external or internal, that you can go to?
Well, when it first happened, I talked to my parents, talked to my dad first,
Oh, good.
and he broke it down. He explained to me, and helped me through that. Then I talked to my mom, and she also did the same thing as my dad did, and they both helped me through their process. And then after that, I told my friends, Josh and Devontae. I told them, and of course they gave me their advice and their 2 cents on what I should do from there, and help me through that process.
That's good. And I'm going to ask this, and I'm not going to dwell on it, but I'm just going to ask, of those people, your parents, dad, mom, Devontae, and Josh, on a scale of weak, moderate to strong, I'm going to start with Dad. How do you rate that person, a go-to person for helping you with what you were dealing with? Do you rate that as being a weak support, moderate, or strong support?
Okay, so my parents, I would say strong support.
Okay.
My friends, I'll say a moderate support.
Okay.
I guess I add myself into that. I could say a very strong support.
That's good. So it reminds me of, I don't know if you're spiritual, what your spiritual affiliation is, but there was a minister who says that encourage yourself. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I heard
That
it.
reminds me of what you do, and that's a very good thing to do, because sometimes we may not have that immediate parent right there, and you may be, but you can always pick up a phone and you can always reach out. But then sometimes you, in the nighttime when it's too late to call, but never feel that way. You gotta encourage yourself.
Yes.
And that's really good. You have very good skills already inside of you, or strength inside of you, that can help you get through this. Okay, for your physical health, let's see. For example, what activity do you identify with the most, and how frequently do you do it? And would you say your exercise routine, is it weak, moderate, or strong?
Exercise is pretty weak. I don't exercise at all. I do want to exercise more often. I want to add that into my life.
Okay.
Well, I guess if you count skateboarding, that's a cardio. But
That is a cardio.
But I would prefer to go to the weight room or something like that, and push weights and be a little bit more stronger.
You really hit on something that's very important, especially when you're experiencing depression. Anaerobics, that's the strength building, and aerobics, that's the cardio. Those are two things that help with depression. Even if you're not being medicated, it helps. It helps with the, the hormonal change.
Okay.
So you're doing a good thing, Jordan, if you get to that. So we'll just mark that as a week to do. That's a goal to accomplish. Okay. Okay. And okay, now we're going to talk about another item, in only 3 more to go on this, and this would have to do with self-esteem. On a scale, again, weak, moderate to strong, how are you how well are you at accepting personal flaws or weakness? Like if you have a personal flaw, I don't know,
Mm.
very handsome man, but if you consider yourself to have a flaw, how well are you with accepting it? On a scale of weak, moderate.
Moderate. I guess you balance it.
Okay, so moderately.
Yeah, moderately. I accept. I accept my flaws.
Okay.
I'm not.
Is there something that you go and say, I wish I was this, I wish I was that?
I wish I was tall. I wish I was stronger.
So, and that's moderate. So
Yeah.
those are things, believe it or not, genetically, we can't, grow taller, but we can get to a place of acceptance
Yeah.
of who we are. So that's why we ask those questions, because we're going to work on your self-care plan. This is why we're asking these questions.
Mm.
So basically, you consider yourself moderate on the self-esteem. This is a part of self-esteem.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
You agree?
I'll say moderate.
Okay, I'm going to put what you say. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to put moderate for that. Coping skills. Okay, coping skills, that has to do with activities that you do to make you feel healthy. Or, let's see, I'm having a little bit, I need my glasses on. Coping skill, ability to manage uncomfortable emotions in a healthy way. So, okay, for example, what you just discussed with me, when you had to go through that traumatic experience. So your coping skill, for example, is your ability to handle uncomfortable situation in a healthy way. So what healthy way did you use that, if you could think of it, I know you must have gone through many emotions, but what healthy emotional things that you did during that period of time? And then if whatever you identify, tell me if it was bad or good, if you're weak at it.
Are we talking about the breakup, or just like in general? Or?
Well, since we're talking about an emotion that occurred and depression that was on onset from the breakup, I'm sort of asking about that, but it can be related to any other things that occurred that contribute to depression. So my question is, what skill do you have to deal with an uncomfortable situation? And what did you use? Or do you have a skill? Is your skill in that area, is it weak, moderate, or is it strong? And this is a coping skill. Like, for example, what do you do to cope with an uncomfortable situation that makes you sad or depressed? And it could be any situation.
Just, how do I cope?
If you don't have any, it's okay to say you're weak in that area, because those are things that we work on.
I feel like, if I repeat some of the things I do before, like, I guess my distractions are a good coping mechanism.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
And did you understand? Was I very clear? Because I felt like I was not too clear in that. And you can have me to clarify.
Oh no, you clarified. I'm just trying to think of something to respond to that. Maybe I don't have a coping. Maybe I could be weak in that area, or I could use some type of improvement.
Okay. So you're saying you may be weak in that because you're not sure
Yeah.
what are the coping things that you could possess.
Yeah.
Other than what your natural reactions are
Yeah.
when things happen that it's not pleasant for you.
Yeah. So I guess I'm unsure about that question.
Okay.
So
And I'm gonna say it another way too. When you're feeling uncomfortable in a situation that gets to your heart, makes you sad or make you angry, how do you cope with anger and being sad? So I think that would clarify it a little bit better, right?
I get more angry, more sad.
So we need to work on that. Okay. So we're gonna work on that. Is that okay?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
put that in the weak section.
Okay. So it escalates, okay. And then the last thing here, it's going to be regarding your sense of purpose. And in that regards, do you have any meaningful involvement at work, or do you have any meaningful involvement in personal values and living in accordance to those values? And this has to do with sense of purpose. Do you have a sense of purpose? And if so, what are those values that you're striving for? And it's okay to say yay or nay or weak, that I'm weak in that, I like to improve.
As far as my job, no purpose there. I
But
definitely,
that's a weak.
I just need it for some money. If I could, I know what I want, but it's just like get into it would be difficult. Like being able to take my the things I like doing, like drawing and skateboarding, and presenting that and making it profitable. Like
Okay.
that. I mean, that'd be pretty cool if I could make the things that I like doing.
So at the moment,
Yeah.
you're not there. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
And that's something you want to improve on? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to put that in the weak, moderate, or strong.
We'll put that in the weak section.
Okay. So those are things, sense of purpose you want to work on.
Yep.
Great. And then one last thing. Healthy thoughts. Okay, healthy thoughts. And what that means more or less is, do you ruminate on mistakes, personal flaws, or problems? Ruminate is that you just sit there and just like stew and stew and stew and build up the steam over it.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I did it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I can work on that.
Okay, so.
But I do have the positive thought. Like, I always bring myself out of that. Like I always find a way to bring myself out of that thought process though.
That's a good thing that you said that, because that would be your coping mechanism.
Okay.
So how do you bring yourself out of that? How do you get to that positive thought when you get yourself steamed up? And I know that's easy to do. So just share with me, if you don't mind, what, for example, do you do to get yourself out of that rut?
Okay. I'd say stuff in my head like, well, it was gonna happen. It's supposed to happen this way. I always conclude God. I just say, I know it's supposed to happen like this, or He showed me this sign, I ignored it, so this is the reason this happened, or something like that.
So you're you're rationalized in your way, and that is a very good thing to do. You're analyzing the situation, and then you rationalize. It's what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did hear you say that you brought God into this picture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very good component, connecting spiritually to what your values are. Very good component. So maybe you feel that you're not quite there, but ironically, you're using a lot of the things that's going to get you to where you need to be, as in, the positive direction, as in the self-care for Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to you for that.
Okay.
Okay, and I hope that I was in the picture. Okay. Okay, so we've gone over all those things that we needed to go on as far as me clarifying your assessment that we did earlier. And the last thing that I want to go over with you is, I think we didn't talk about the strength as much as from you. We talk about the strength from the support of your family.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about your coping skill and that kind of thing. So I'm going to ask you some things about your strength. Okay. Now, although some of our strengths are obvious to us,
Mm-hmm.
there are times when, you can often spot your invisible strength by noticing the things that energizes you.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, what energizes you? What gets you excited?
Skateboarding.
Oh, okay.
I always have energy for that. I think even before I just go to work, I'm in the parking lot just practicing the tricks. Or when I'm on my break, I practice the tricks. Or when I get home, I practice. Yeah.
So that's unique. So what does that skateboarding? It gives you a sense of
That you can do anything. Like
okay.
it really does. Like it somehow it just like translates over to life. It's like, oh, I spent 3 months learning this one trick. I think I could take out the time to learn something new at work or something.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
So you're transferring when you get the euphoric feeling about what you've learned,
Hmm.
and I'm assuming tricks with using that
Yeah.
board, and you think, wow, I learned that, and then I can do more. I can
Yeah.
translate that to my work. I can translate that to other things.
Anything.
Great, that is great. Okay, and so sometimes other people are better at spotting your strength than you are. So, because we are so used to our own strength, they can start to feel ordinary. Well, skateboarding hasn't yet, but it might. What strength or positive qualities have others shared with you? How did they notice these strengths? Have anybody ever come up to you and said, Jordan, you're really good at this.
Jordan,
You should do this.
you can draw, you can skate, you can do all that. You should do this.
Are those the things that people
Yeah.
have noticed in you?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other things that people notice?
Um,
Are there any other things?
Probably not.
Okay.
That's the first thing that comes to
So,
mind.
so there's two things:
Those are the things that always stay with me because I like
drawing and skateboarding.
it. I like it.
Okay.
Someone
Well,
ever compliments me on it, I'll always remember that.
okay. Well, that's awesome, and this is where we're going to leave this session at what you enjoy, your strength that you see in yourself, and the strength that others see in you, and look like they're meshing up, because you see that your strength is, and your motivation comes from when you skateboard. It transcends you into an ideology that, oh, I can do this, I can do that. So it is actually helping to build up your self-esteem and your confidence. And that's what we want to accomplish in our sessions. So you did fill out your eco map. Your eco map, it shows all the relationships. I've got that. We did that. With that eco map, it showed me your support system. We did clarify that. Your external ones were your friends. And so we knew that your family's very close-knit and they are strong support. And we didn't ask you if you had any other social entities where you were considered as your strength or your support system, like, for example, your church, your sorority, fraternities, or anything like that. Do you have any of those?
No, I haven't been to church recently, so but I do want to attend that again.
So that's a goal. Okay, so from all the things that we discussed, now I want you to give me your feedback. We're going to be wrapping up the review of your assessment. I think we've got a lot of good information from you that we can move forward with if you wish to do so. So from our session today, how do you feel about that? Would you like to continue with exploring how we can move you forward in your life in a positive way?
Oh, yes.
Okay, great. So our plan for the next session, what I would like to do is I'd like to go ahead and set you up for your self-care plan. So the self-care plan is going to consist of, and I think I gave you a copy of that. Yeah, there it is, right there. Right there. This is your self-care plan. And this is going to be an assignment that I'd like for you to work on. And you bring that back with you in the next session. And what that would do is you're going to work on, for Jordan's self-care plan, we're going to work on the mind, the body, and the spirit. And you've already given me the information about your supportive people in your life. You could just relist those that are closest to you. And an additional thing, you're going to tell me what goals you want to accomplish. And we already identified some of those goals. So what we do is we're going to take the goals that you've identified, which is from this form that we had here. And I apologize for getting this a little bit out of order here. Okay, from your risk factors, we identified that you wanted to improve on your sense of purpose, and you can incorporate your sense of purpose in your goals. Okay? And then we wanted to think about how we can deal with healthy thoughts. And you illustrated that very well, but we're going to give you some more behavior therapy that helps you to have a positive mind. And one of that would be like mindful thinking and meditation. It helps you to have a calm, thoughtful mind. And then the other one, you said that, and it's sort of in the same vein for the coping skill, and you said that you were also weak in physical fitness.
Mm-hmm.
That's an easy fix. So on this one, you're going to tell me things about what you want to do as far as your anaerobic and aerobic. And the other thing I want to add to that is that we can discuss how we can get your support system, one person you trust, to be your exercise buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of go with you to the gym and keep you on track. So I want you to get really entrenched in that, because that is a very good factor in helping you with depression. So now, having said that, this is something you can work on. And then in the next session, we'll let you tell me which one that you want to work on. Prioritize it, because you can't do them all at one time.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me which one you want to work on, concentrate. And then we're going to set up the session. We have weekly sessions. And let's see, on my calendar, I'm open on Wednesday, Thursday in the evening, and we do have Saturday's appointment. Are any of those time good for you?
Saturday is a good time.
Okay. So what we'll do is I'll send this to my receptionist up front, and we'll pin you in on Saturday's appointments. And what time of the day would be good for you? We open between, I have opening on this chart, I have it from 10, and then I have one at 2. 2 o'clock. So we're going to schedule weekly sessions, and each Saturday's at 2. Would that be fine?
Yes.
If we have any changes, be sure to call the receptionist, and they can reschedule. We would like for you to call at least 24 hours in advance, and so they'll go over those policies with you. But that's great, Jordan. I'm so happy that you're wanting to take charge of your care. I'm really sorry about the situation, but some things that happens is just the normal transition of life.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to get you to your healthy you. So thank you for coming. Right.
Thank you for having me.
How long was that? 37 minutes?